So here's a possibly unpopular truth. Tillage is necessary in all organic grain systems. This could mean primary tillage or secondary tillage, preparing a field for planting, or even that shallower cultivation that's used to control weeds until crop canopies. A fully no-till system, however, does not exist on organic grain farms. For many no-tillers, this fact means that organic is just a non-starter. The devastating image of the Dust Bowl still looms large in the hearts and minds of American farmers. Fortunately, however, we have come a long way since the 1930s. We know that every single tillage pass has a cost to the soil. But tillage is an integral tool in organic crop production, and it brings with it many benefits. Careful, strategic tillage can reduce the downsides while allowing organic farms the benefits of preparing a really good seed bed, managing weeds, and incorporating organic matter into the soil. Just like most no-till enthusiasts, organic farmers are really concerned about the negative effects of tillage and are constantly developing innovative strategies to reduce soil disturbance.
Well, my thoughts on tillage have changed a lot throughout my career as a farmer. When I was conventional, I was no-till. Tilling is terrible, I never want to do it. And then I kind of started learning that there were different kinds of tillage and, different ways to manage it.
We use one word for all these different activities in the field, but they're not equal. There's a big difference between running a speed disc an inch deep or less and a V-ripper every year.
You have to spend a lot of your energy thinking about how to improve tillage, to do it in a way that's responsible. So you spend a lot of time thinking about your necessary evils, I guess.
Here at this operation, we do recognize that tillage can be problematic, but we see it as an important piece of how we're managing this overall operation.
I do have to do some tillage. I no-till as much as I can, but I'm not going to forgo a tillage pass at the expense of a crop failure.
So tillage is a very important tool in organic. Not only it helps for weed control, but it also helps for nutrient management. So integrating manure and green manures into the ground is very important for nutrient cycling in organics. More recent research is supporting the fact that moderate use of tillage combined with green manure and animal manure can lead to optimal soil health, just like the no-till systems in conventional agriculture can.
If you look at our soil fertility, the amount of residue that we work back into our soil health is top-notch. We use an agronomy company. We grid sample our fields, and when our samples come back, we can look over the years and watch our soil fertility grow and grow and grow. Our organic matter is super high, so probably erosion is the one thing that I think about, and that's why I don't like to leave my fields smooth. I like to leave them a little bit rough.
And I'd really like to, keep experimenting with the goal of cutting out as much tillage as possible with more and more cover crops, whether that's planting green, crimping, whatever. I'm open to any kind of experiment that's going to reduce that as much as possible.
Yes, we are making multiple tillage passes. However, if you look at a 5-year picture, the row crops would maybe be 2 to 3 years at most out of those 5 years, maybe even less in some instances, where the other 2 to 3 years you are solid seeded with a small grain or cover crop, legume, alfalfa hay in our case. So those years you're doing virtually no disturbance.
Whether it's ideology or truth, I'm at least committed to the idea that it's possible to improve soil and do tillage. So the trick is how to best optimize it, like how to create a farm where that's actually true and not just anecdotal. And then replicable, obviously.
You can go down a path of okay, we till. And so I like to ask myself before every practice, why am I doing this? What are the goals? And I think that that's what you need to focus on every time you go to do an operation.
So as we just heard, organic farmers use tillage. Farming is all about using disturbances to our advantage. Plants want to grow and they want to reproduce. Thank goodness. Our goal as managers is to use disturbances to influence the growing conditions in a field to favor our selected crop. Disturbances come in many forms other than tillage. We've got fire, grazing, mowing, really heavy rainfalls, and even herbicides. Each of these comes with its own sets of costs and benefits, and balancing these costs and benefits is the job of the farm manager. The potential soil health costs of tillage are well known. Erosion, encrusting, compaction, reduced soil organic matter, and damage to soil structure. But less known are the benefits that well-managed organic systems that include tillage can bring to soil health. Sound organic management can build soil organic matter. In fact, organic farms on average have higher soil organic matter content deeper in the soil profile than conventional farms. A peer-reviewed study by the University of Maryland and the Organic Center found that by adopting best management practices, organic growers can boost their soil organic carbon by an average of 18% and increase microbial biomass carbon by an average of 30%. The biggest and fastest way to impact soil health and carbon levels? Application of organic soil amendments like manure and compost, pretty much near universal practices on most organic farms. Another study, this one published in the journal Agriculture, found that when compared with conventionally managed fields, organic soils had higher levels of carbon storage, total nitrogen, and enzymatic activities for all 5 enzymes tested. OFRF, or the Organic Farming Research Foundation, has a really good overview of the research relating to soil health and organic farming. Links to that and lots of other reading can be found in the lesson notes. So clearly, it's not as simple as tilling or not tilling. Even tillage-intensive systems are building soil and subsequently sequestering carbon. Organic farmers working to keep soil in place is not just the right thing to do. It's also expressly required by the organic regulations. Section 205-203A states that the producer must select and implement a cultivation practice that maintains or improves the physical, chemical, and biological condition of the soil and minimize soil erosion. So how a farmer complies with this regulation depends on the farm. It depends on the soil structure, the slope, the crop rotation, climate, and a lot more. And it's the job of the organic manager to help select and employ tillage strategies appropriately. So how do organic farm managers leverage the weed control benefits of tillage while protecting and even improving soil health? The answer is using the very same strategies and tools that any farmer inspired by the 5 principles of soil health would use. While not explicitly organic, the folks at Understanding Ag have taken those principles a step further and fired up this whole army of regenerative farmers. While some see a lot of space between regenerative and organic, we see that we all share common goals, even if the strategies and path might look a little bit different. All that said, we really like the way that they break down best practices for tillage using an acronym, FIST. The letters stand for frequency, intensity, scale, and timing. FIST. We're going to adapt that a little bit and add one more S for soil health practices because, you know, Mother Nature never fights with just one fist. It's fists. So let's talk about each of these in turn. 1. Frequency. Minimizing frequency is an important goal. However, on organic farms, it's more about the right frequency. The right frequency isn't unnecessary or recreational tillage, but it also gives the crop every advantage to outcompete weeds. You can also lessen frequency by using other types of disruption, like mowing or grazing, mulching. 2. Intensity. You can reduce tillage intensity by leaving plenty of residue to provide soil armor and lessening tillage depth. 3. Scale. Lessening the geographic scale of soil disturbance by always having ground in covers, or better yet in perennials, that will have you tilling only a percentage of your ground each season. The other consideration with scale is that you'll want to be able to get all your processes done on a field as quickly as possible. So if you till a field, till a small enough field that you're not necessarily rushed to beat a storm or prevent it from drying out and blowing away. 4. Timing. Tilling at the right time when the soil is fit and when it can be a shallow preventative measure and not a deep reaction. And 5. Counteract damage with other soil health practices, like using cover crops, grazing, implementing those deep, long crop rotations that include perennials, contour strips on highly erodible land, and fertility inputs like manure. All pretty common sense stuff, but it does bear repeating. All right, so I'll end here by pointing directly at the elephant in the room. And as tough as it might be to swallow, tillage is a necessary tool in organic systems. But it should be thought of not as an abusive tillage that some farmers might be familiar with. Instead, it's a strategic deployment of one among many tools in the organic farmer's tool belt. One that, when used judiciously and carefully, can help build a resilient, regenerative organic farming operation. Every tillage or cultivation pass should serve a purpose, and that purpose is sufficiently clean, not even pristine, fields of productive, profitable crops.